Okay, so let me ask you this. Do you ever find yourself, pretty solid with English grammar? You've got the vocabulary down, you can read complex stuff, but then you actually have to speak.
And the words just vanish.
Exactly. It's like your brain just locks up. Total silence. It's super frustrating.
Oh, absolutely. And it's incredibly common. Our source material points this out as like the central hurdle for countless English learners everywhere.
But what's really eye-opening here isn't just identifying the problem, it's the scale of the insight we're diving into today.
Yeah, the person whose work we're looking at, they worked with over 100,000 students.
100,000. Wow.
Yeah, 1 lakh students from all different parts of the world. And after seeing that massive sample size, they didn't just find a little trick. They apparently discovered this truly transformative, almost counterintuitive secret method.
A secret method for fluency. That sounds
Mhm.
intriguing.
Well, that's how they frame it. Something
Yeah.
that gets past the usual textbook stuff.
And that's what I found really fascinating reading this. It totally reframes how you should even start thinking about fluency. It's not about endless grammar drills, is it?
No, the source is very clear. This isn't the usual textbook advice that, let's be honest, often just leads to burnout.
Right. It says it's something real, something that works. It sounds like it's about changing how you fundamentally interact with English.
Exactly. It's about building confidence through doing, not
Wow.
just studying.
So today, in the deep dive, we're going to really unpack this method. We'll look at the surprising ideas behind it, the actual steps involved.
And why it apparently completely shifted things for those 100,000 students, moving them from hesitant speaking to, well, being truly articulate.
Get ready, because I think this deep dive might challenge some assumptions you have about what it really takes to speak English fluently. It sounds more like learning, I don't know, a sport or an instrument.
That's a great analogy
Mm.
because it drills down to this core misunderstanding. The source highlights that most people fall into this trap, this huge focus on passive learning.
You mean like just reading and memorizing?
Yeah, exactly. Picture it. Spending hours memorizing long vocabulary lists, dissecting every tiny grammar rule, reading dense texts.
Which feels productive, right? You feel like you're learning.
Of course. And the belief is that if you just do enough of that, somehow fluent speech will just
Yeah.
happen, magically appear.
But it doesn't quite work like that.
Well, those things are foundational, absolutely. You
Yeah.
need that knowledge base. But they don't, in themselves, automatically create the fluidity and spontaneity you need for actual conversation.
Okay, so it's like
That-
it's like wanting to be a concert pianist and you spend years just studying music theory, reading about scales, chords, composition,
Yeah.
but you never actually sit down and touch the piano keys.
Precisely. You'd know a lot about music, but you couldn't make music.
Ah, okay.
And the big insight here, the real perspective shift, is that, according to the source, speaking is not a knowledge-based subject. It's a performance-based skill.
A performance-based skill. So it's less about how much information you've crammed into your head.
And more about what you can actually do with that knowledge when you're, in the moment, in a real conversation.
That connects directly to learning any physical skill then.
Absolutely. Think about learning to swim. You could read every book on swimming technique, watch hours of Olympic swimmers on YouTube,
You'd know all the theory, the stroke mechanics, the breathing.
everything. But until you actually get in the water, experience the feel of it, the resistance, coordinating your body,
Yeah.
you won't swim.
And you'll probably splash around and swallow some water at first.
Exactly. And that's not failure. That's just learning. It's part of the process. Same with riding a bike, you learn by doing. And yes, by falling off a few times.
That's a really clear comparison. So the same idea applies to speaking English. Fluency doesn't just pop out of knowing stuff.
It grows from active use. It's this cycle of trying, making mistakes, noticing them, correcting yourself, and then trying again.
Okay, and here's where it gets really interesting and maybe a bit counterintuitive for some. The source says the biggest mistake most learners make is Waiting.
Waiting. Yes, waiting until they feel their grammar is absolutely perfect. Waiting until their vocabulary is huge. Waiting until they're sure they won't make a single mistake.
They think they need to achieve perfection before they even start performing, before they even open their mouth.
Right. And that raises a really crucial question. If perfection is your requirement for starting, how will you ever reach it? You can't.
Because you never start the process that builds it.
Exactly. The source is emphatic. Fluency develops through speaking, not before speaking.
Mm.
The more you actually do it, the more you put yourself out there, even imperfectly.
If faster, you'll actually improve.
Precisely. It's a fundamental shift from just internalizing rules to actively, performing and refining the skill from theory to practice.
So, if you listening right now have been mainly focused on that traditional study approach, maybe this deep dive is suggesting a pretty big shift.
It is. And that shift leads us straight into this surprisingly simple, but apparently very effective method. The one discovered after guiding all those students.
The secret method.
The listen, speak, reflect method. Elegant, isn't it?
Listen, speak, reflect. Okay, let's break that down. Killer one. Listen intelligently. What does that mean? It's more than just having English radio on in the background, right?
Oh, much more. This isn't about passive listening. The source stresses active, focused engagement. It advises choosing short clips, like really short, under 2 minutes, often just 30 to 60 seconds.
Okay, short clips of what?
Real, authentic conversations. Movie scenes are great for this, bits from interviews, natural dialogue in podcasts, maybe even YouTube shorts with unscripted speech. The key is listening critically.
Critically. How so?
Not just for individual words, but for how native speakers actually string words together. You're listening for those common phrases, those little interjections, the chunks they use without thinking.
Like what sort of things?
Things like, let me think, or sounds good to me, or actually, I'm not sure, but maybe. It's not just the vocabulary itself.
It's the music of the language, too.
Yes. The intonation, the rhythm, the stress patterns, even the subtle emotion in those phrases. The source suggests this kind of intelligent listening actually trains your brain to stop translating from your native language.
Ah, so you start to think directly in English.
That's the goal. And that mental engagement flows right into pillar 2. Speak daily in short bursts.
Okay, daily speaking. This sounds like where the performance part comes in.
It is. This is turning understanding into action. And the biggest hurdle here for many is waiting for that perfect moment or trying to craft the perfect sentence. This method says, forget that.
Just speak.
Speak immediately. And here's the really surprising part, maybe even if it's just for 2 to 5 minutes a day.
Wow, 2 to 5 minutes. That sounds really doable. Not overwhelming at all.
Exactly. And how do you do it? The source gives practical ideas. Talk to yourself in the mirror, record your voice on your phone, chat with an online language partner or tutor.
And what should you say?
Critically, you immediately use and repeat the phrases you just picked up from step 1, the listening part. Make it a non-negotiable daily habit.
So like right after watching that short clip, you might say out loud, okay, they said, I totally agree with you. I could use that when I talk about the project tomorrow. Something like that.
Precisely. Even that kind of focused talking to yourself builds real fluency. You're actively producing the language, not just passively consuming it.
Okay, listen intelligently, speak daily. What's the third part?
Reflect, review, and improve. And this is crucial, often skipped. It's not just looking back, it's an active process.
What does that involve?
At the end of the day, or after your short speaking practice, you ask yourself some pointed questions. What did I actually say today? Which new phrase did I try out? Did I feel okay using it? What felt difficult?
It's like giving yourself feedback.
Exactly. It helps your brain organize what you've learned, solidify it, and figure out what to focus on next. Think of it like stretching after a workout, essential for growth and avoiding, burnout or frustration.
Okay, listen, speak, reflect. Structure makes sense. Now, you mentioned something about patterns earlier. The source talks about the power of repeated patterns.
Yes, this is highlighted as a real game changer. It changes how you think about building sentences. Fluent speakers, native or not, don't meticulously construct every sentence from scratch, word by word, applying grammar rules in real time.
That would be exhausting and way too slow for a normal conversation.
Totally inefficient. Instead, we all rely heavily on familiar chunks of language, idiomatic expressions, common sentence starters, pre-assembled patterns. They're like ready-made building blocks.
Can you give some simple examples?
Sure, think about can I. You instantly know you can follow that with tons of things. Can I help you? Can I try this? Can I ask something? Or I'm not sure. Becomes I'm not sure what to say. I'm not sure that's right. I'm not sure about that.
I see. So you learn these common patterns.
You learn them intelligently and you practice them rigorously. By doing that, you massively reduce the mental effort, the cognitive load. You stop trying to create every sentence word by word from rules.
And you start just recalling these pre-built chunks.
Exactly, you slot them in.
And that's where the real magic happens, right? Recalling a chunk is much faster, much smoother than building a sentence from zero.
Demonstrably faster. And that's the point where your brain really starts to stop translating
Right.
from your native language.
And starts to think directly in English. The planning, the inner monologue, it starts happening in English.
That's when real fluency starts to bubble up. It's less about just the number of single words you know, or even how well you know the grammar rules in theory.
It's more about being able to whip out these natural, repeated expressions quickly and confidently.
Yes, achieving that conversational efficiency, that automaticity that lets you just talk
Hmm.
without inhibition.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory. But what about the actual results? What happened with those 100,000 students when they consistently use this listen, speak, reflect method?
Well, according to the source, something pretty remarkable happened. Remember, these students were from all sorts of backgrounds, beginners struggling with basics, advanced learners stuck on a plateau.
But they all had that same core issue, lack of speaking confidence.
Right. And the benefits reported were really transformative. First off, crucially, they stopped being so paralyzed by the fear of making mistakes.
Which is huge. That fear can just shut you down.
Absolutely. They moved from just passively studying to actually using English in real conversations with friends, colleagues, even strangers.
And the overall outcome.
They felt more relaxed, more natural, more engaged in their learning. It stopped feeling like a chore and started feeling like, well, a way to connect.
That really is the goal, isn't it? Not just understanding English, but actually living and communicating through it.
Exactly. And the source emphasizes that once they started that daily, short, meaningful speaking practice, their fluency just bloomed much faster than with traditional methods.
So it hammers home that point again. Consistency over perfection.
Absolutely. Consistency is the key.
Mm.
And the takeaway is powerful. If this approach worked for such a huge, diverse group of students,
It can definitely work for you listening right now.
which brings us neatly to the practical side.
Mm.
How do you actually do this? The source lays out a clear, step-by-step daily practice plan.
Okay, a daily plan. Does it require special tools or anything?
Nope. No expensive courses needed. Just your time, your focus, and that consistency we keep mentioning.
All right, let's walk through it. Step 1.
Choose a short video or audio clip in English. Again, short, 30 seconds to maybe 2 minutes max.
Movie scene, podcast bit, news clip, YouTube short,
Yeah.
something with real, natural conversation.
Exactly. Authentic exposure is key, not textbook dialogues.
Got it. Step 2.
Listen actively and write down 2-3 natural phrases. Those chunks we talked about. You know what? That makes sense? I'm not really sure. Identify them and note how they're used, the context, the tone.
Okay, listen and grab a couple of useful phrases. Then step 3.
This is the speak part. Speak those phrases out loud. Don't just mumble them. Say each one clearly, maybe 5 times each.
And try to copy the original speaker's rhythm and tone.
Yes, mimic the intonation.
Or,
And if you're feeling brave, record yourself.
oh, listening back to yourself. That can be tough but useful.
Incredibly useful. It's instant feedback. You hear what needs work.
Okay, step 4.
This is where your brain starts working in English. Use the phrases in your own sentence. Don't just repeat, I guess so. Make a new sentence with it, like, I guess so, but I need to think about it more. Or she asked if I was ready, and I said, I guess so.
So you're taking the pattern and applying it immediately, making it your own.
Exactly. Active application.
And the final step, step 5.
That brings in the reflect pillar. Reflect at the end of the day. Just take a few minutes. Ask yourself, what new phrase did I learn or use? Did I speak English out loud today? How did it feel? What was tricky? What felt easier?
That structured reflection helps keep you aware and motivated, right?
Absolutely. It cements the learning and keeps you moving forward. And the source is clear. This daily plan works whether you're a total beginner or pretty advanced.
And the time commitment again?
Just 10 to 15 minutes a day. That's it.
Yeah.
Tiny commitment, potentially huge impact on fluency and confidence, but only if you stick with it consistently.
Right. It's about that first step, however small, repeated day after day.
Precisely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's quickly recap the core ideas. The main philosophy seems to be, don't chase perfection, chase progress.
Exactly. Embrace that. Listen, speak, reflect, cycle daily, even just for those 10-15 minutes.
And maybe the most powerful single idea, don't wait for confidence before you speak. Speak to create confidence.
That's the big one. It worked for over 100,000 students. It helped them get over the fear of mistakes, have real conversations, feel more relaxed and natural.
If it worked for them, it can work for you too. But consistency.
Consistency is the absolute non-negotiable key.
Okay, so now it's your turn listening to this. Thinking about everything we've just discussed. What's one phrase, just one natural pattern or chunk that you heard today or that came to mind that you want to really try and use this week?
Just pick one.
Think about it for a second, and then maybe right after this finishes, go ahead and practice saying it out loud. Just that one phrase.
That's your first step, a small, powerful step towards unlocking that real, lasting English fluency you're looking for.